Hey there, everyone. It's really good to see you again. Sorry, it's been a little while since I've posted a video. We've been really kind of overwhelmed with weddings and things like that, but that season is done now. So here I am back to give you part 3 of how to take a proper breath, and this is all together now. So I'm going to show you how to practice taking an effective breath, how to strengthen that, and how to grow in it. My first video, if you recall, was how to properly use the diaphragm, and that is on this channel. So go ahead and take a look at part 1 of how to take a proper breath. And part 2 was about placement and using your soft palate and your larynx to effectively open your throat and allow air to come in when you are taking a proper breath. And so now that part 2 is also on this channel. So go ahead and take a look at that before you proceed with this video. And as always, please follow me on social media. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, obviously, and you can always visit my website at www.singwithpraisevocals.com. And before we get started, I just wanted to let you guys know, as we're coming into this holiday season, I've got some amazing holiday packages that are available for sale on my website. It's going to save you a lot of money. It's a great way to get introduced to private voice lessons without having to be locked into any kind of contract. So go to my website, www.singwithpraisevocals.com, go over to my web store and give the gift of music this year. All right, you guys. So for this one, I'm going to be standing, and then I'm actually going to lie on this futon here in the back so that you guys can kind of see what I'm doing, because all of our breathing exercises are going to start on the floor, actually. And so you're going to start like you're lying down to do sit-ups with your knees straight up, back nice and flat on the floor. And because, if you remember from my first video, the reason is you want to be able to feel the diaphragm expanding 360. And so when you lie on the floor, you're able to feel the diaphragm expanding backwards. So you feel your diaphragm pushing into the floor, and then you can feel it frontwards and to the side as well. And also, it is slightly easier to do all of these exercises on the floor to start. The other thing I just want you to know is, as you start, you might feel really tight. Know that over time, you will stretch your muscle and you won't quite feel so tight. It is actually quite normal to feel a tightness in the chest or even in the throat as you're starting these exercises. And before we start too, I just want to kind of give you the lowdown on goals. So essentially, we start with a deep breath, and typically a student will start at about 3 seconds, and then the goal from 3 is to go to 10 seconds of inhalation to get that really good stretch. And then once you get to 10 seconds, we start doing what I call a quick breath, where we are essentially getting to that full extension. Instead of in 10 seconds, we're getting there in 1 second, which is the way to breathe most of the time when you are singing. It is the way that you will be breathing. Who is going to take 10 seconds of time to breathe, right? That's just not something we're gonna do. But 1 second becomes extremely useful. So I'm gonna show you how to do that. All this time, while I'm taking these breaths, I want you to notice you are not going to hear any inhalation, okay? And you are not going to see my chest rise at all, okay? You might see my rib cage expand towards the end of these breaths if you're really, really looking. But for the majority of the time, you're just going to see my diaphragm lifting, and that's it. So I'm going to walk over to this futon now, and I'm going to start with this deep breath. So I'm going to lie down, and I'm going to put my knees up in the air so that my back is flat. And I'm going to start with 3 just to show you what that looks like. So it would be and out. Okay, so that was 3. So now I'm going to show you what it looks like when you go to 10. And here we go. And so if you notice, we're practicing breathing in for that amount of time and then breathing out for that amount of time. Now, I'm going to show you what it looks like to do a quick breath. Here we go. Okay, so notice you really didn't hear very much. And that's why I put those counts on there for you. So once you get that really good, so essentially I start my students at 3, and then when you feel like you can stretch a little bit more, you stretch by 1 and more, and then 2 more, and then, you know, all the way up until 10. Typically I tell my students to practice this 3 times a week and to do like 20 to 25 in a row, and that might seem a little excessive, but we're working on muscle memory here. So if you're wanting to expand and stretch those muscles, you have to do them quite a bit to get them there. And also just a reminder, you've been breathing a certain way your entire life, and I am now telling you to breathe a different way. And so that muscle memory is going to be kind of working against you, especially if you're on the older side. Like me, kind of reaching into your 30s, 40s, and even higher, it can just take a little bit longer. So just have grace for yourself and take your time. And then, like I said, when you reach that 10, that's when you pull in the quick breaths. Okay, and then as that gets easier and you start to feel like you're not really feeling much tightness anymore, you're nailing those quick breaths, then you stand and you do the quick breaths. We no longer work on the deep breaths when we're standing, but once we've got that good stretch, we work on those quick breaths. So they look like this. I'm going to stand to the side so that you can see. Okay, and so if you'll notice, you didn't hear anything happening with my throat because I had my larynx dropped and my soft palate lifted, which looked like this. So I'm going to do those quick breaths again so that you can see this action. So here we go. Okay, and so what you'll notice, you'll start to feel like air just naturally coming in to your diaphragm, into your lungs, and it's a really, really amazing thing. So that's how you practice the strengthening of the diaphragm. The other way that I practice breaths is something I called yawners. Okay, and then this is how you make sure that this is happening properly. So you're doing that quick breath at the same time as this, but we're switching the focus, okay? So instead of focusing on the diaphragm expansion for this, we're focusing on the drop, okay, and the lift. And what we wanna do is we wanna do it about 4 times, up to 4, until we feel a yawn coming on or we actually start to yawn. Now, when you start this, you might not quite get to the full yawn. Okay, you might just feel a tear or feel like you're about to yawn, and that's okay too. Oh, I'm laughing right now because I feel like I want to yawn because I keep saying the word yawn. But so I'm going to show you what that looks like. Typically, I can do it much, much quicker than 4, but this is what it looks like. So. Okay, so by the end of that, you should feel your eyes tearing and like you want to yawn. And that space right there is what you're creating to create proper placement for when you start to sing. Okay, so that's how to take a proper breath. Much longer video than usual, but there's a lot to it. There are lots of ways that you can then strengthen your diaphragm and things like that through hissing and lip trills and things like that, but that's for another day. This was just about showing you how to take that proper breath. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that this works for you. Please comment below and let me know if you have any questions or any comments, or if this has worked for you, or I get a lot of feedback about these quick breaths because people are like, wow, I never knew that I could get that much air so quickly. So remember, biggest thing is you don't want to hear any noise. Chest is not lifting, it's just that expansion of the diaphragm moving downward. So you guys have an awesome day. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to follow me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and visit my website, www.singwithpraisevocals.com. I do give lessons remotely. So if you are outside of the Asheville, North Carolina, do not fret. I can still give you lessons this way. So give me a call today, you guys, and I hope you have an awesome day.